Why have we come to earth? Do you remember? Why have we taken birth? Do you remember?
She already is fine. There are studies done, most of us know that there are studies done that say that the fear of public speaking is like most people's number one fear. There's a couple of studies that say public singing is actually the number one fear of most people. So thank you very much for overcoming that and stepping up. So it was wonderful. So how's everybody today? Oh yeah. Luke, how are you today? For those who are not football fans, Luke and I support rival football teams. I'm a fan of, what's that team? The Oregon Ducks, and he's a USC Trojan lover, and they came together last night, and there was a score, and he was challenged. But it was a great game. And I asked him first service, I pulled that on him in first service, and I loved it because he said, the same thing, I'm a little bit better than fine, which is non-conditional based. Even if my football team loses or something happens in my life, I'm still a little bit better than fine, right? And that's how we need to live is, stuff happens out there, stuff happens in here, and yet I Let's just all take that on for a moment. Let's all say that together. I'm a little bit better than fine. All right. Today we're going to talk about gratitude. We talked about the idea of race thought in the human consciousness, which is the thought that's going on around us. And sometimes we want to avoid that thought. We want to have a wake-up moment and say, I need to think something different than what everybody else around me is thinking. But sometimes it's good to, if the race thought is going the direction you want to go anyways, surf that energy, right? Ride that energy. And so we don't surf too much here in Redding, so it must be ski that energy. Hopefully this year up in Mount Shasta with some snow. But join that with that energy. And so we have an energy going of gratitude around this season here in the United States, right? And so it's a wonderful way to remember that and to start to practice, if we haven't done it before, or deepen our practice of gratitude. Meister Eckhart, who was an 11th century mystic, said, if the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. If the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. Let's just take that in for a moment.
Thank you.
Yes. So gratitude is one of the most powerful forces we have. It opens us up to the flow of grace. It opens us up and connects us with the infinite presence and the flow of life energy. Joel Goldsmith tells us about grace, that grace is not something that is given to us or withheld from us. There's an Indian Swami, I can't remember his name right off, who says that grace is like the wind that is constantly blowing, and all we need to do is put up our sails. It's constantly here. It's constantly within us. So grace is not something that is given to us or withheld from us. Grace is a state of being which comes into active expression the moment consciousness has been purified. And we purify our consciousness by removing stuff unlike love from it. And gratitude is one of the most powerful practices we can do to purify our consciousness. And if we're stuck, forgiveness is the other most powerful practice we can do to purify our consciousness. And I want to talk real briefly about forgiveness because many people have this kind of misconception about forgiveness. Forgiveness is really recognizing the God nature of the other person. It doesn't say I have to like them or like what they did or condone what they did. But I still recognize that they are God as I am God. And oftentimes the forgiveness that many of us have to do is who? Ourselves. Yeah. Yeah, we're pretty clean sometimes, by the time we're in a religious science church, we're oftentimes clean with most of the people out there. But sometimes we have to remember, oh yeah, I got to forgive myself. And I carry around this little condemnation of myself for something or some things that I've done. And even that will not free you. And so I love that not doing forgiveness, carrying resentment around, has been defined as drinking poison, hoping the other person dies. Okay? So we do forgiveness just simply so that we can release that essence, that energy from our own life, so that we can move back into that flow of grace, that flow of life, that flow of love that is our true nature. So we're not going to spend a lot of time doing a forgiveness process today, but I just want to, as we come into this wonderful season of the year, with the Thanksgiving that we're moving into now, and then the celebration of the rebirth of light, which December is all about, and so many traditions. It's the celebration of the ending of one solar year, if you will, and the rebirth of the light again, whether it's personified in a person or whether it's done throughout the earth. It's still that celebration of light, and it always is within us, right? So it's a good time to remember that rebirth of light. So as we do that, we cannot take with us the old junk that we're hanging on to. And forgiveness is a great way to clear out the old junk. It's kind of your fall cleaning, right? It's sort of like spring cleaning. When we live in grace, we live in the flow of the universe. We live in the flow of the universe. Grace is that state where I know that I'm fine and everything around me is fine. And it's not about the stuff. It's not about whether my team wins or loses. It's not about my checkbook. It's not about my health of my physical body. It's not about something that's happening out there in the world. It's just knowing that, yeah, all that stuff is happening. All that stuff is going around. And yet I am still immersed in an infinite presence that is pure love, pure wholeness, and it's fine and I'm fine. And most of us have had that sensation at some point in time, right? Yes? Most of us have had that. And so being in that state of grace and using the practice of gratitude to induce that state of grace is the way for us to be more present in that state. And have you noticed that when you're in that state, things seem to flow better? Okay? Things seem to flow better when we're already in that state. And that state of grace is what we're truly seeking. Because when we're in that state, we're in a state of deep peace. We're in a state of deep peace within ourselves. That state of grace is what we're all truly seeking by whatever process we're doing. So when I mentioned doing this talk the other day, somebody said to me, a couple people said to me, that it's really important at this time in our world. We're still looking at some of the after effects of the events in Paris and Beirut and other places, that there have been tragedies that have been happening. And we can buy into the fear, if we want to, that a lot of people are trying to sell. Have you noticed there's a lot of fear salesmen out there? Okay? And we can buy into that, but fear begets more fear. And acting out of fear begets more pain, more suffering, and more things to fear. Have you noticed? Okay? Whereas acting out of grace begets more grace. What we put our attention on is what increases. And so if I put my attention on gratitude, if I put my attention on love, if I put my attention on what is working well, that is what amplifies, that is what grows in greater consciousness for all of us. So that's why I want to take a look at gratitude today, because it is important at this time. See, we can't fight fear. You ever try to fight fear? You can't fight fear. Okay? It's like that. I refer in the first service to, in Star Trek, every once in a while when the Enterprise get caught in some energy field, and they would try and blast away out of it by using their phasers, and their phasers would just give more energy to the field. Okay? So when we try and fight fear, that fighting energy is based on fear itself. And so we're just creating more and more of it. So we have to shift the energy. It's that old Einstein quote of, we can't solve the problem at the level of consciousness that created the problem. More war will not result in less war. Okay? And so we only add energy to the situation when we practice fear. What we can do instead is practice gratitude. And we cannot, because we can't live in fear and gratitude simultaneously. Try that in your mind. Try being grateful for something and in fear at the same time. Just try it for a moment. Doesn't work, does it? You're going to do one or the other, but you can't do both at the same time. And so my encouragement is we practice gratitude. Joel Goldsmith says that divine grace is forever present in our consciousness, but it cannot operate. That is, it cannot manifest in the presence of fear or hate. So as long as we're holding on to one of those, we cannot live in grace. And yet grace is what we really want. So the invitation is that we start to practice this gratitude, start to give up on the idea of fear or hate. Emma Curtis Hopkins tells us there is nothing to hate. Because if it's all God, and that's what we teach, it's all God, anything we say I hate is what? It's God. We're saying I hate God in some way. Now there's a difference between I hate Brussels sprouts, which I do, by the way, and real hate. There's a difference between I don't like it, it's not a pleasant taste to me, and hatred, just so we're clear. So gratitude is love expressed. When we're in gratitude, we're expressing love for a person or a situation or a thing that we're holding our attention on, right? So when we're in gratitude, we're loving that person, that situation, that thing. And when we are in that love, it unites us with our true divine nature, with the true nature of the divine, with the energy of the all that is, because that energy, God is love. Every teaching says that somewhere in it. God is love. Every mystic who's ever touched it has had that experience. And love dissolves anything that's unlike itself. Love is the greatest power in this universe. It's not the fastest, flashiest power in this universe, okay? In the Taoist tradition, there's yin energy and yang energy, and the yang energy it's considered the masculine, but it has nothing to do with men and women, but it's that out there doing things. So fire is yang energy. Water, which is what the Taoists honor the most as the elements, is the yin energy that quietly wears away everything else until it begins to level it off all to its own level, okay? And that's that level. We don't hear about love too much in the media, do we? That kind of love. We don't hear about, there was a sleeper cell of lovers that descended on a place and loved all over the people. Okay? It doesn't make news, right? Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great? And yet the truth is that if we pay attention, it's happening all the time. There are people who show up and love on other people. Have you noticed? And sometimes it's subtle, and sometimes we have to remind ourselves, oh, that's love. This season we'll see people ringing a bell for the Salvation Army. That's love. We'll hear carolers maybe who will be singing to maybe old folks' homes, care facilities. That's love. That's a sleeper cell, or maybe not so, it's a sleeper cell, an awakened cell of lovers expressing love. I'm going to invite you this season to be a lover, to shower love on people. Will you take that assignment on? Yes. Okay? To practice that. So today we're going to engage in a practice of gratitude, and it's going to involve the candle that you have in your hand. Did everybody get a candle when they came in? Anybody need a candle? If you do, stick your hand up, and one of the ushers will bring it to you. We need a couple down there, or one down there, two. Need one over here. Anybody else? And I'm going to talk about the logistics of how we're going to do this first, and then we're going to do the process. I want to get the brain stuff out of the way, okay? So the ushers are going to invite you from the back. When we do this process, you're going to come up and place your candle up into this tray of sand up here. And the ushers will be guiding you from the back forward down these two aisles. You'll come in, you'll light your candle off of either one of these candles. Reverend Sue and I are going to be on either side, holding you in consciousness and loving you. And then just place the candle into the sand and let it stand. And then go back up the center aisle.
Can I recommend that people place them towards the back?
Yeah, so if you're one of the early ones, place them towards the back. Thank you very much, Kristen. So that you don't have a whole row up front and everybody else has to reach their sleeves over it. Thank you very much. We co-create this well together, don't we? So before we do this, though, so now that you've got that all organized in your mind, I'm going to invite you to take a moment to be still. And do you want to play a little music behind this? That'll be fun, wonderful. Take a moment to just come to a place of stillness. And bring to mind something or someone for which you're grateful. Something or someone for which you're grateful. And let that energy now move into your heart. So it's not just thinking about that person, but you begin to feel the gratitude. Feel it in your heart. Feel it in your chest area. Allow that to relax and expand and open in that gratitude. Breathe into that area. And now think of another thing, situation, person for which you're grateful. And allow that feeling to begin to move into your body, again through your chest area, through your heart energy. Allow it to begin, that feeling of gratitude, allow it to begin to radiate out through the rest of your body. Breathe that in deeply. And now taking into your mind someone else or something else for which you're grateful. Moving that into your heart energy. Allowing that feeling of gratitude to spread throughout your body, to be aware that every cell of your body is filled with that gratitude. Right in the center of your cells, there is that gratitude. Imagine that you're immersed in that gratitude now. Imagine that you allow your heart, this grateful heart, to connect with the other grateful hearts in this room. So we have a room full of connected, grateful hearts, grateful beings. We're told there's only one life, one body, one mind. And so we take this gratefulness, this feeling of gratitude, and we move it out beyond just our own body and just our own four walls here at the center, and allow it to move out into the city of Redding, the county of Shasta. There's only one mind. Allow it to move from this area clear through the country, clear through the United States. So we are one connected body of gratitude. That gratitude exists already within every person, every being. Plant life, animal life, human life, and whatever else is alive on this planet. Allow that energy, that gratitude energy, that love to move now out around this entire world. Notice if there's any place you want to exclude, and allow yourself to love even that place, that person, that situation. To let the love be bigger than the stuff. So we are a world connected in gratitude, a world connected in love. And this love is the light of our hearts. This love is the light of our lives. And so allowing ourselves to let our awareness come back, come back, come back to our body, sitting in this chair, in this center, leaving the residue of love and gratitude scattered throughout the world. We become aware of ourselves being fully present, fully grounded here. And so I invite you to allow this candle that you have to symbolize your gratitude. It can be specific or generic, but just allow the candle to symbolize this sense of gratitude that you have. And so in a minute, we're going to invite the ushers from the back to invite you up, to make a space for you to come up and share that gratitude by lighting your candle and placing it here in this box. And so we'll do that now, starting from the back. We can't forget our musician. Did we get our sound people down here?
All of which we are grateful for.
Yes. How do you feel? This is our natural state. This is our normal. This is what was supposed to be our normal before we forgot. So breathe that in, let your body just feel it for a moment. This is an expression, just a little outpicturing of our light. Okay? And we're here to light up the world. Jesus told us, don't hide your light under a bushel basket. Your gratitude, your sense of love, is the light that you share with the world. And if you want to do something about the darkness that's in the world, you don't fight the darkness, you just turn on your light. You let the light that already is within you shine forward. So my invitation, this whole coming month, will you let your light shine? Oh, come on. Yes. Let's try it again. Will you let your light shine? Yes. So your gratitude is this light. Thomas Shore teaches us that whatever is known in consciousness at one point is known in consciousness, the consciousness of the universe, at all points simultaneously. When I'm living in gratitude and love, the universe is affected by it. As each of us lives in gratitude and love, the universe is affected by it. And so I invite us to be the sleeper cell of love, but not so sleeper. Maybe the awake and allowed cell of love and joy. Normally I give 3 assignments for homework, for at the end of my talk. There's just one this week. Practice gratitude. Just practice gratitude. Consciously practice gratitude. And don't just jot something in a notebook and say, I did my 5 gratitudes tonight. No, take it in, even if it's just one, take it in and feel it. Open up your heart cavity, your heart space. Feel it in your body. Take the moment to really be in gratitude. That experience we've all had where maybe we're in nature and something just moves us in awe and we just stand there and go, oh my, wow, whatever. That space, that sense. Let yourself live in that sense or spend some time in that sense because that's our natural state. It was said that Teilhard de Chardin, who was a Catholic priest and mystic in the last century, would walk through the park in New York City. Central Park, thank you very much. And look at the trees and look at the flowers and just simply go, ah. It's that Zen moment of being just absolutely present with life. So that's my invitation this week, is that you take that on to be present and in gratitude with life. Are we good with that? Yes. Great. I'm going to close with a poem by David Whyte. It's called The Opening of Eyes. That day I saw beneath dark clouds the passing light over the water, and I heard the voice of the world speak out. I knew then, as I had before, life is no passing memory of what has been, not the remaining pages of a great book waiting to be read. It is the opening of eyes long closed. It is the vision of far-off things seen for the silence they hold. It is the heart, after years of secret conversing, speaking out loud to the clear air. It is Moses in the desert fallen to his knees before the lit bush. It is the man throwing away his shoes as if to enter heaven and finding himself astonished, opened at last, fallen in love with solid ground. I invite you this week to take off your shoes. Your symbolic shoes, the shielding and protections we have built around us. To take off your shoes and fall in love with the solid ground of life, the life that each of us lives, the life that is around each of us right now. That's my invitation. So let's move into prayer. And so I recognize that there is only one in presence, one infinite presence, pure love, pure wholeness, pure good, pure joy, pure light. Only one, everywhere present. It's present even in the darkest places that we can think of. It is present there. It is present in the darkest people that we can think of. It is present there. God is all there is. That infinite love, that infinite light, that energy, that Tao, that Buddha mind, that Allah, that Adonai, that whatever name we give it, that which is beyond all names, is present, fully, absolutely, completely present, wherever we are. And in every place. And because it is infinite, because that is all that there is, each of us is one of this infinite presence. Each of us, every one of us, all of life, all of it, is one of this infinite presence. And so we are one of the love, we are one of the joy. This is our nature, this is the truth of who we are. And so I speak my word that today we wake up and remember that more fully than ever before. We live in that new normal, which is really our old normal. The normal that we knew, and the normal that our soul knows. That normal of love, that normal of gratitude, that normal of joy, that normal of peace, that normal of plenty, that normal of health and life, energy, and vitality. That we live in that more fully and occupy that space more fully than ever before because it is there to be occupied. We live in and as the grace of God. And so we say yes to that energy. We say yes to the truth, the real truth of who we are. We say it in our heart of hearts. We say it out loud. We say yes. We let our light shine. And so in that consciousness, and I know that there's a healing going on that happens in our body, that happens in our souls, that happens in our minds, that happens in this world, that happens everywhere, internally and externally. And so for this, I'm grateful. For the love that is being expressed, for the gratitude that is being expressed, for the grace that is breaking out all over this planet, I am so grateful. For our willingness to say yes to Spirit. At whatever level we can say yes at this moment, I'm ever so grateful. And so I release this word with that sense of gratitude into a law that knows exactly how to grow it and manifest it into the beauty of this word, into the beauty of this idea, and into this heaven as earth, earth as heaven consciousness that we know is the truth of our being. And I release it, I let it go, knowing it knows how to do its own thing and raise up a world as love. And so it does. And join me in saying, and so it is. Thank you.
love.